It recognizes our belief in God, our country, not just individuals, our country, our founding fathers codified this in the documents that founded this country. Our reliance, our belief in God, and our reliance upon God. Of that, there's just no debate on that. You may like it, may not like it. Declaration of Independence, we find these truths to be self-evident, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, of which are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It goes on in the Constitution to say we are putting together this Constitution in a preamble to secure the blessings, not only for ourselves, for posterity. And that Constitution followed with a Bill of Rights that enumerated those godly rights given to man, including the very first one, which was a right to believe in God and to express that belief anytime, anywhere, including the public square.
33 million. It's proven to the money investors that people want something to feed their souls, not just their worst desires.
Absolutely.
And
yes, indeed.
This kind of sums up my entire dialogue career on the heat of the night. You ready for this? Okay, this is it. My 7 years on the heat of the night. My dialogue all summarized into this. Get right on it, Chief.
Skinner, but Bubba's my name. I like my iced tea sweet and my women the same. I'm your brown-haired badge here in little old Sparta, but nobody's bigger or tougher or smarter. If you're looking to fight, best not be with me. Gonna be held tight, well now we'll just see. You never know in the heat of the night on TNT. Heat of the night on TNT. Now I don't put on any airs, but then I ain't no slob. Just a redneck boy with a blue-collar job. The ladies I date, they gonna have 'em some fun, 'cause I'm a big hunk of crime fighting son of a gun. So if you're looking to fight, come on up in the ring. You wanna be held tight, just about anything can happen in the heat of the night on TNT. Hubba, 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 heat of the night on TNT. Yeah.
It recognizes our belief in God, our country, not just individuals, our country, our founding fathers codified this in the documents that founded this country. Our reliance, our belief in God, and our reliance upon God. Of that, there's just no debate on that. You may like it, may not like it. Declaration of Independence, we find these truths to be self-evident.
This hour of the Alan Autry Show is sponsored by Sinlaw, the most realistic artificial grass in the Central Valley.
From NFL quarterback to Hollywood to the mayor's office, and now behind the mic at KXEX, this is the Alan Autry Show. No retreat.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody grabbing out there. Nobody. That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today,
I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KFTX.
And welcome to Alan Autry No Retreat on this thunderous Thursday in a sweltering Fresno, California. Guillermo Moreno, old trusty friend, old boss of bosses, like the mafia. You made me an offer I couldn't refuse. Yeah. You know you live in Fresno when you say, wow, it's only going to be 103 tomorrow.
It's not bad.
There's quite a difference between 108 and 103. Isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
All you folks that don't live with extreme heat like we do here would not understand. But it is time to celebrate when it's 103. I mean, I grab a coat. But I'm
I don't know about that, but
yeah. It's like the people in Wisconsin. I play with the Green Bay Packers. You know, it's like 38 degrees and they're out in tank tops.
Yeah, and shorts.
They're tank tops and shorts. I'm going, what are you doing? We're like that with the heat. All right. Nothing like talking about the weather as stimulating conversation. KXCX. I'm avoiding a lot of the subjects today for as long as I can because, you know, aren't you tired of the media and especially what they call the mainstream media, legacy media? One of the talking heads labeled them regime media, probably not too inaccurate. ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, they all do the same thing.
Regime media.
Yeah, not a bad little tag, moniker, well earned. But aren't you tired of them making something out of nothing and nothing out of something? I mean, whether you like Trump, hate Trump. I mean, I look at these latest indictments of this fella, Jack Smith. I swear, he spends, if you were jaywalking and Jack Smith was going to prosecute you, I'm convinced that he would say, you were walking so fast, those feet were moving so fast, they're deadly weapons. You could have hit somebody in the head with that foot. And so I'm charging you with attempted murder for jaywalking. I mean, that may sound absurd, but that's exactly what he's doing. I saw for January 6th, they're charging Trump with defrauding the American government. How defrauding the American government? I mean, that is something out of nothing. Trump said, go peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. Now, whether you love him or hate him, you know deep in your heart that group came there, that went in, the rioters. There was a demonstration, a massive demonstration, and a bunch of knucklehead knotheads conspired to go in there if they had a chance, and they got the chance to storm into the Capitol, and they're getting what they deserve. Okay, you do that, it was a riot. It was not an insurrection. And they call it an armed insurrection led by Donald Trump. No, over there in Russia, Guillermo, they showed us, or in Ukraine, the Wagner Group actually illustrated what a real insurrection, armed insurrection was. You have all the howitzers that you need, grenades, machine guns, about 75,000 armed troops marching towards Moscow to take down the government. Now, that's an armed insurrection. It was properly labeled that. But to have the media make something that big, it was bad what happened on January 6th. It should never happen again. But don't make it into an armed insurrection. By the way, the only person that got killed in this armed insurrection, the only one that fired a gun, was a Capitol Hill police officer who killed a woman that he shot recklessly through a window and killed her. And yet they want to make this Hunter Biden situation, of which you're finding every day more credible information that he and his uncle and his father and several other folks have been enriching themselves for over 3-4 decades.
A lot of money.
By selling American policy. That's why the judge put a halt to this yesterday. So wait a minute, this is not it. Something smelling fishy here. And the key question that he asked the prosecutor, and they're all tied together. The January 6th Jack Smith with these prosecutors that are going after the Hunter Biden. Yes, I said prosecutors. Prosecutors and defense counsel got together with this plea deal. That's what's really bothersome. The prosecution and the defense were on the same team at one time. Then the heat got so bad because the information becomes so preponderous that these prosecutors said, man, we have a reputation to protect here. This ain't going our way. And the judge simply asked, by the way, is there a precedent for this to bring these charges, to have the gun charge limited to just less than a slap on the wrist, no time? They have over $1.6 million of unreported income that are basically going to make go away. And he's going to have it all expunged from his record, and you still have charges pending out there. Is there any precedent for this? And the prosecution had to say, no. You talk about making nothing out of something. And you see how the press covers it. What's the lead story? Trump indicted for the third time for defrauding the government on January 6th. Well, what's your take? I look at this, but I will not be worn down. I will not be worn out. I will not throw up my hands and say, well, we can't do anything about it. That's just the way it is. We got to fight back on that, even if it's like Davy Crockett, Alamo. You're swinging and you know you're going to get beat. You got to keep fighting. Go ahead, Guillermo. Are you just sick of this?
Well, there's so much. I'm trying to remember what I'm going to respond to first.
That was quite a spew.
That was quite a spew. So what was the question?
Some of it came out of my mouth.
Because you kind of went 3 different areas. Okay.
The rest of it, I've been accused of having come forth from another orifice.
Am I tired of it?
Well, it's just the same old story. Does the regime media, does the legacy media, does the media that we used to respect, at least I did, my generation growing up, do they really even care that they're being exposed as having this full-fledged 100% agenda and partnering with a political party that they have completely shed any semblance of objective reporting and journalism, and people who even support you know what you're doing. You're just don't you care anymore? Do you have any integrity? Do you have any journalistic pride at all left?
So I think you're right, and I am tired of it because I've been on the air now for going on 5-6 years now, and there's tons of topics that I wish we can get to, but we can't because Trump and all these the indictment, it just sucks up all the air out of the room when there's important issues going on locally that really should have our focus. So, but here's the issue with the way the media covers it, and I think that CNN is guilty of it, Fox is guilty of it, we're all guilty of it in a sense because CNN's going to report to their base, and then Fox News is going to report to their base. Unfortunately, we're really not getting the true story. And I want to say this. I applaud the American electorate because the reason why we're even here with the Hunter issue is because the Republicans got back control of the House and they're able to go down some of these rabbit holes that the left just was unwilling to do. But here's the state of media, I think, if we dig down even further. Fox News, CNN, all the legacy media, all the newspapers, all the social media, they're really all on the same team, folks. It doesn't matter where their political persuasion is because you have people in right-leaning media, the ones that are in charge, maybe not Newsmax and like One America's News, the far, far right ones. You have them, they really don't want another term of Donald Trump. That's what this comes down to. They don't want another term of Trump. So I think right now they're all trying to figure out, okay, how do we make it happen? How do we continue to do our part to pile on this guy?
Well, I agree. But my point is, at what cost? That you
it doesn't matter the cost.
That you're
whatever
totally
it takes.
discredited.
Whatever it takes.
But you become totally discredited as a news organization that you can remotely rely upon to bring you the
Alan,
truth.
You don't need credibility anymore. In today's day and age, in our political world, you don't need morality. You don't need credibility anymore. And that applies to the legacy media. That applies to everybody. Right is not right anymore. Wrong is not wrong anymore. You're I hate to say this, but I think you're thinking old fashioned.
I agree, but I think they're making a big miscalculation because I think
agreed.
The CNN in particular and the regime media, whatever you want to call it.
I like that. Every time you say it, reminds me of Bush.
I think deep inside, because especially the minority voters that they count on, they feel like they don't even have to work to get anymore. The African American vote, much of the Hispanic vote, although that's tide is starting to turn. Women, they don't feel like they need to really tell the truth because the ends does justify the means to keep Trump from running again. But it's the old thing. If you're conspiring with a liar to get something done, and you get done what it is you and the liar were working on, and then you partner for the next thing or whatever, you're not going to trust that individual that lied because if they lied about this person, they'll lie about you. You've known people like that. When you're with liars and you say you go against an individual, I know, people, I have genuine policy, concerns and disagreements with our mayor, but I know people that just don't like him and they would lie about him. Well, I don't want to partner with those people to get, Jerry Dyer to change his policies because they're going to lie about me. They're going to lie about anybody else.
Yeah.
When they lie. And the media, what's it going to take for the Hunter Biden, Joe Biden situation, which could be the most scandalous betrayal of public trust, of bribery, which is a felony. It's in the Constitution that no elected official can participate in, especially President of the United States. You're getting all this evidence coming forth. When is it going to be your lead story? When are you going to say, okay, this is tough to admit, but we're going to have to do that? I will tell you this. The Republicans became, when they heard the Nixon tapes, that almost every Republican back then in the day, they knew this was it. Nixon had to go. And every part of the media covered that. Maybe you need the tapes to, they got the laptop. They've got eyewitnesses, partners that work with these folks that say that Joe Biden was heavily involved in all of these business dealings. And if you see the White House has gone from President Biden said he never spoke to his son about his business dealings to the President Biden has never been in business with his son. A big departure, not parsing words, significant difference. And I guess it just, and you look at today's news feed, because it's obvious to they're trying to this heat wave to try to get their climate new Green Deal through even more.
That got to die, didn't it? It's back on the table?
Yeah, oh gosh.
Remind the people when it's really hot about climate change.
Well, making that the number one issue. Here's top stories on the news feed here. Era of global boiling has arrived. July is set to be the hottest month on record. The next one, by Inside Climate News, the nation's 4 largest cities are among the most hardest hit by heat islands. The Washington Post, the new measures Biden just announced in response to extreme heat. The next one by Vox, legal battles over climate change are already paying off. These are your top 5 stories. Okay, we get it. We get it. You want us to support candidates that support spending our economy into oblivion and turning this country into a third world country, thinking that by doing so, you can lower the temperatures around the world. And that's, they're so obvious. And then here you have, and it comes to what you said the other day. I think, sadly, and it just breaks my heart to say this, that this nation no longer values especially the younger people, if you believe the polls, that honesty, integrity, a sense of fairness, equal application of the law, regardless of how poor or rich or whatever station in life you may be, those American values, uniquely American values, don't mean that much anymore. If you could have a candidate who is dishonest, has no integrity, has no sense of fairness, ends justify the means, and will be the beneficiary of an unequal application of the law, i.e. the Biden case, and you have half the population, half the voting population saying, that doesn't bother me. Why? Because he's the president of free stuff. He's the president of loan forgiveness. He's the president of climate change and the new Green Deal. He's the president of open borders. He's the president of tough on victims and easy on criminals. If you line up ideologically, you don't care if you can't trust the guy as far as you can throw him or the woman as far as you can throw him. They don't care. And that is extreme. I think that's what's going on. And it's heartbreaking.
Alan, it's about time. It really is about time. When you're here saying, hey, why don't the media change? Why are they going with the same stories? They're really only talking to maybe 30% on each side. The people that really matter in the center, because those 30 that watch CNN are going to vote Democrat. Those 30 that watch Fox are going to vote Republican. The question is this: do the 40 in the middle really even watch that junk? And the answer is no, because they don't have the time.
I disagree. So I disagree. I think COVID kept people inside, and they're all over. They're more people are watching it now than ever.
I don't think so. And let me give
young people.
Let me give you a good example. Yesterday, I was driving in to the studio, and I was listening to a Spanish station called Mi Amor, where they
more love.
More love. Yeah. Well, no, it's not more love. It's my love. Mi Amor. Right. And they play romantic Spanish music the whole day.
What is that on the dial? What is it?
92.1. Okay. Yeah, Mi Amor. You're gonna go home singing in Spanish to
Yo soy un hombre sincero.
There you go, más guapo. So, and I was watching it, and it was a morning show, and they were talking about Latinos in the United States having to sell their land that they purchased in Mexico, where they were going to build a home and retire. This is pretty big in the Central Valley because a lot of Latinos, they come over here to work. They make a decent money in comparison to Mexican standards, and they go and they buy a plot of land, and then they build. So apparently, in the Latino community now, it's gotten so big where the people they have to sell their land in Mexico just to afford to live in the United States. And they had a caller because they opened up the phone lines, unlike KXEX. They opened up the phone lines, and they had this lady call, local lady, and she was in tears. And she said, I'm heading to the pawn shop today, and I'm selling all my jewelry. Single mom, nursing assistant, mind you, because she can't afford to live in the United States based off of her income. She's selling her stuff. And the DJ, the radio disc jockeys, at no point in time did they say, well, you know why we're here? It wasn't like this a couple of years ago. At no point in time. Instead, they made it into an ethnic thing. How Latinos always have to work hard and how the system is just always against them. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, let's back this train up. Obviously, 3 years ago, people were buying land in Mexico. It wasn't that bad. So when I say, hey, look, the 40% just aren't paying attention, they're really not, because they're trying to make ends meet. They're really not. It's really not connecting, and you're trying. And I was like, screaming at the top of my lungs, like, you're having to sell your stuff just to survive in this United States. What do you think the ultimate factor is? What's changed? And the answer is political culture has changed.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I think it starts in K through 12 with these kids just getting brainwashed that they're victims. They're either oppressed or the oppressor. If you're oppressed, you have entitlement to have stuff that you don't have to work for, that your ancestors' misery earned you the right to get free stuff. And if you're a certain color or ethnicity or part of a certain religious group, you are responsible for what your great grandfather and grandmother did. And you need to get whatever you accomplish in life, you must give a certain percentage of that away to that individual whose descendants were not as fortunate or whatever. It's such a grotesque concept that you can. It's such a bad thing that in the Bible God said, "I'm going to transfer the sins of the father to the son." Meaning you can't do that, and yet it's been done. And you're having and especially during COVID, it just reaffirmed this thing that people want to be taken care of. We tend, I think, to exaggerate the part of human nature that wants to be free and independent and make their own way. Me, I want that. But I don't feel that's the predominant instinct in human beings. The predominant instinct is to be taken care of. That's why Marxism is so appealing to a lot of people, that the government is going to provide my necessities. I don't have to worry about where my next meal. It may not be the pizza from me and Ed's that I want, but it's going to be food to keep me alive. I'm going to have a roof over my head, may not have air conditioning. It's going to be a roof. It's going to be a bare minimum. At least I'm going to be able to stay alive. That's the Marxist promise, that everybody's going to be the same, except everything is going to be horrible. I mean, you don't have a chance to better yourself. As a free democracy allows you a pathway, no guarantee, but a pathway. Marxism, there is no pathway. You're born into it and you stay in it. And that's appealing to people that don't really know that life until they're in it and they can't get out, because the deal is you have to give these Marxist regimes, this big government regimes, your freedoms, your personal freedoms, because that's and the first thing that has to go is God. Of the Bible, which Paul went as far as to say, no work, no food. I know it seems harsh to people, but what he meant was you should do the best you can. Yeah, if you're disabled, you can't. It also says in the Bible we're supposed to take care of those folks who legitimately cannot work. The disabled, those that either mentally, physically, or whatever. Yeah, we're supposed to help those folks out, but not if you're able-bodied to just sit back and let other people support you. When you're able-bodied, I mean, and as a society, when you get more people wanting to ride in the wagon than pull the wagon, you get in trouble, and that's what's happening now. You're getting people and especially young people that think all this free stuff, the internet, all this stuff, free education, a job that I don't want to start in the mailroom. I want to be there maybe 2 weeks maximum, and I want to be a manager. And you talk to business. This is the mindset.
Oh no, I have. I've hired people.
You have a generation, 2 generations that have been brought up being told they are very, very special since they were a child. And you know what? They believed it.
It's like the HGTV shows where they
believed it.
Where they go in with $100,000 budget, but they want the 5-bedroom house in a nice neighborhood with an ADU unit, fireplace, granite countertops, and French appliances. $100,000 budget.
And that's what this woke left is all about. If you could just subdue those big fat cats on the right and subdue them and give you what you deserve. The person who built that corporation to a multi-billion-dollar corporation, you deserve part of that. Now, I'm not talking about workers' rights. The actors are on strike right now. Hey, that's I'm with you 100%. But I'm talking about a mindset that's anti-work. That is pro. They've seen so many movies, from the Shawshank Redemption to the Green Mile, that think everybody in prison
is innocent. No, the majority are guilty. It's like the judge told me the other day, you have to earn your way to prison nowadays. You know, they do everything they can to keep you out of prison.
Yeah. What judge told you that?
Judge,
why were you in front of a judge?
No, I got judge friends, man.
Oh, okay.
I got friends in high places, man.
Alan, well, let me ask
friends
you.
in low places. And there's a mindset along the way.
Yeah.
In order to make that work in your mind and in policy, they feel, is you give up your honesty. You have to lie to people that this could be provided for you, that we have enough taxation ability to tax to the point where you never have to work. They've tried that in Greece and it doesn't work. You're going to retire at 50. Their economy's in chaos. It is the big lie that you can work for a few years if you want to.
Yeah.
Because very deep in Marxism is that thing about free time. See, people don't quote that much, and that's very appealing. Everybody's the same.
Oh, to my generation.
I'm guaranteed my basic necessities, and then I deserve time for poetry and relaxation. Catch this isn't Marxism. Whenever I want to. You said to some young naive kid, that's pretty appealing. Go ahead.
Oh, well, and COVID changed everything. Because
there's your check.
Because my generation was so stressed out at work, they needed mental health breaks. And
here's some free money.
Yeah, and I'm not saying mental health. People do need mental health breaks, but my generation now, the millennials, are saying, well, wait a minute, I'm going to do a 20-hour work week, but I still want to get paid 40. Or I'm going to do that's what 20. To my generation, the ones coming up, I want to offer 2 words of advice. Number 1, be careful what you wish for. If you don't want to work, trust me, AI or someone will replace you, and you're not going to get paid. So be very careful of what you wish for. The second thing is, I think this is a great opportunity for the young people, because there are a lot of them out there, the young people who still want to work hard. I can't tell you probably how easy it is in today's society to get a job, to prove yourself, and to make money. If you have work ethic.
Oh, God, it's like finding gold.
It is, right? And I told you a story earlier today of a young boy walking into a place and a couple years later owns a television station. And he was looking for a job. So I think right now there's.
And where did he start? You told me?
He needed a job.
But he started doing what at that job?
Engineering.
Yeah, but he started down at the bottom.
The bottom. Oh, yeah. He thought he was walking into a warehouse. He goes, I'll do a warehouse job. And it was a broadcasting place. And so I think there's if you're a young person, man, it's ripe for the taking right now. Separate yourself from that mentality of, I don't want to work.
But aren't we seeing right before our face? And I'm just using CNN and the regime media, for lack of a better word, to illustrate where we are right now with half the country.
Mm-hmm.
They don't believe that honesty is an important part of a leader's makeup, or you would make this Hunter Biden story and stories that don't align right with your agenda, you would at least cover it to some degree. You don't believe integrity is important because the story changes all the time. Karine Jean-Pierre can come up, say something completely opposite that she said 3 months ago and tell the press that she's saying the same thing, and nobody challenges her. Okay? You get Joe Biden, here's a guy who's plagiarized an entire speech. He's known throughout his career to really stretch the truth and downright lie. But integrity means nothing. Fairness, to be fair and to bring people together. You say that's what you wanted with Biden, yet he gets up there at a press conference. It looks like he's broadcast live from hell, the red background, and call half the country MAGA nuts, that they're insane, that they don't have a right to even participate in the political process. They're the bigger threat to America than Al-Qaeda.
Yeah.
You get up there, it doesn't bother you. That doesn't bother you. The equal application of law, you can let this Hunter Biden thing with all of the evidence, the IRS whistleblowers, all of this credible evidence, even the judge coming out, an impartial judge said, there's something really wrong with this. Yet you don't care. You'd rather have your lead story be that Jack Smith was able to spin another high-degree felony
after out of a questionable misdemeanor, whether even the misdemeanor applied. And you're covering that first because you don't care about honesty, integrity, fairness, equal application of the law. If your guy wins, what kind of message is that sending some young person that wants to get into journalism? You either have somebody who doesn't care about that at all, and that's a great society to have a bunch of people that feel that way. Try to have a civil society based on that. Or they've been brainwashed since kindergarten through higher education at a university that is so politically poisoned that these kids come out thinking right is wrong, wrong is right, up is down, down is up. And we're in a position, and I think that is the miserable truth we have to face. So what? Now what? I think that's why I'm for school choice. It's going to be a long haul to reverse this, but you've got to change. You got to reform the education system. And folks, you got to be careful where you send your kids to school, especially in college. You got to research that college, because I can't tell you how many stories I've heard that I sent my kid off to this college. They were pragmatic. They had beliefs that were healthy. They were not programmed like robots to be conservative, but they were free-thinking individuals, and they come out these programmed robots that are on the woke far left after 4 years of this constant barrage of propaganda from some of the top universities in the country, so especially the Ivy League. But you're seeing it at North Carolina now. You're seeing it at some Southern. I think, at least me, I've made a determination that that's where it begins, and then you dig a little bit deeper. Well, as a nation, we have gotten away from thinking God is important, or going to church is important. That God is, and if you don't have a moral authority telling you right from wrong, then you make up your own view of what's right and wrong, which the woke left has. They said, it's okay if we lie to you because we're doing this for your own good. Trump is horrible for you. Trust me. I know the low taxes you think was good for you, the low unemployment, black community, the lowest unemployment in history when Trump was president. I know that probably looked good to you. You had a secure border. You didn't have people raped and human trafficked across the border when he was president. I know that seems compassionate. You didn't have wars raging all over the globe when he was president. I know that looks and sounds good, but trust me, that was horrible. You need to get him out there. You need to get this guy in here now that's going to feed an endless war in Ukraine, going to tear down the border where there's rapes and human trafficking every day, have monetary policies that are going to turn your money into something worthless. You want to defund the police so you're afraid to go down the store and buy some eggs. That's good for you. That's good. You just don't know it. One of these days, you're going to be intelligent like me, and you'll understand why what seems wrong to you is really right. And what's right in this old archaic way that your parents told you that, hey, that thing about your word meaning something. Oh, that your word is your honor. Honor. Oh God, what a passe concept to having your word mean something. Integrity. That's somebody you can count on. Who wants people around that you can count on, that their word, a sense of fairness, that if you break the law in a big way, that there shouldn't be an unequal application of the law? Of course they should be. When they're on our side, you don't want the law applied fairly to somebody who wants to give you free money. They can do anything. Why? Because you may not get the free money. I know that sounds absurd, but folks, that's exactly what's going on. There's always saying the truth will set you free, but first it'll make you miserable. And that's the miserable truth, and it starts with our kids. That's why I'm so for school choice. Guillermo, before we go to break.
Well, I don't know if you want to go to break, but we can. Something that we have to.
We're going to talk about UFOs next.
Oh man!
So you want to go to break to arm yourself?
Well, here's something equally as important as UFOs. Is we're talking about work, we're talking about the economy, we're talking about inflation. But something happened today and that is that GDP grew. You know, the American worker is working hard, and the recession fears are not there, or they're being pushed out further. So, is this Bidenomics?
Well,
how can
60,000 of those new jobs were government jobs, and that's not good for an economy. So all of this jobs report, you've got to look beyond where the Washington Post goes with this story about these numbers. If you look at the real experts, they say this is kind of a tsunami. You go out on the beach prior to a tsunami, the water's receding. You can walk way out there in the ocean, and you can hang there.
That's not a good sign.
This is kind of nice. If you don't know what in the summit, but out there in that ocean is brewing a giant wave that's going to blow you away when it comes.
Or do you think the American people are just taking it? Do you think the American people are saying, well, you know what? I'll pay $5 gas. At least there's still gas. You know what? I'll pay.
Yeah, there's no doubt, because 77%, I believe, Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. We're having now, what's happened back in the old days when we had our last recession, everybody has their credit cards maxed out.
Yep.
So when those jobs go away, and you're seeing it happen today, Amazon laying people off. Those big corporations start laying people off.
The big corporations are that calculation is heading towards a recession.
And that's small businesses next. You're going to have and then you see. Here's why you see all this great news, and I always look to the real true experts, the really ones that and it's hard to find.
You'll stop. I know you're telling me.
Well, no, but when you have all of this so-called great news of Bidenomics, and you still have the Fed raise interest rates, you know something's up. They see the car heading over the cliff.
That's true.
And they raised the interest rates, even though inflation right now appears low. And here's the trap you fall into. What's gas? Over $5 a gallon, pretty much any place?
Yep.
Well, when Trump was, a little over $2 a gallon.
Yep.
But somehow we've accepted, it's like the old Vaughn's thing, the Vaughn's Club. Here's a Coca-Cola. It costs $7. But if you're a member of Vaughn's Club, it's $1.50. Well, wow, I'm getting a great deal.
Thank you, Vaughn's.
You can check up. You say, hey, it was almost $7 a gallon. Look, it's $5.50. Inflation is under control now. No, it's not. No, it's not.
True. That's true.
It's like you're starving there, and you have a half a bologna sandwich that you've been eating on. Then somebody, you're eating a half a bologna sandwich for 6 months, and somebody gives you on the 7th month the other half of the bologna sandwich. I got twice as much food. No, you got one sandwich now. You got to live on, but you feel great about it because you were deprived all that time. You had your mind brainwashed, and the guy that gave you the other half you think is great. They could have given you that other bologna sandwich all along, but withheld it from you. That's how people. We can be brainwashed if we don't pay attention. All right, you want to break? You want to go right?
Just keep going, man. Keep going.
All right. Oh, gosh. I'm watching last night. Fox, Laura Ingraham. I'm hoping, Laura, don't drink the UFO Kool-Aid. And by the way, it's now UAP.
Yeah,
unidentified
phenomenon.
Aerial phenomenon.
Phenomenon.
UAP.
Is it phenomena or phenomenon?
Phenomenon.
All right.
How would Trump say it? It's phenomenon.
They say they're here. They say that maybe Ron's an alien.
Yeah.
They're saying it. I'm not.
Listen, all I'm saying is I saw the rocket ship go up full of ballots. Then they came back. And that's when Biden took the lead. It was that rocket ship from the planet Uranus. It came back. Oh, I'm sorry, Uranus. And it was full of ballots.
Oh, man.
Did you see those photo IDs? They all look like E.T. All those photo IDs. That was E.T.
Well, Alan, here's the thing. You know that some of the documents that he took to Mar-a-Lago were about UFOs, right? That's why the government barged in there and took them.
Did you see? Now, listen, the whistleblowers, the IRS guys, credible. Did you listen to this guy, the whistleblower? Now, I don't make you. acting, I can always tell. You learn this in acting class. Body language, eyes, this and that. That guy is so full of crap. People, and then I hear the announcer, Lauren, why would somebody come forth and put their career on the line and be in tech? Listen, it's not like the IRS come that you're crossing a political party with people that can really cause you damage in your life, real damage, like getting on the wrong side of the Democratic Party. This is a safe subject. Nobody's going to cancel you because you come forward and say, hey, I know for a fact they got wreckage of a flying saucer, and they have this non-human person that they've been operating on. And they ask him questions, and he can't tell you where it is. He doesn't tell you who it is that told him this. Doesn't give names. You got names in the other whistleblowers, okay? No names.
Alan.
You've got
Alan,
no
let
sight
me make my
for the
case.
wreckage.
Let me make
all
my
you
case.
got is this guy sitting at a bar one day. Yeah.
Oh, these guys.
I saw it. Yeah. You saw it? Oh, yeah. I saw it. We had it. There is it. It's just not human. Crash Fish, I took some of the wreckage here, put a bumper on my 1958 DeSoto. I took it out of there. Yeah. There is no crash site. What advantage would the government have to keep this secret? There's no reason.
Tell you, I will tell you right now.
What?
Power. And hold on, wait. And potential military capability. So I think there's many reasons why you don't tell the American people about aliens. One is because, first of all, you don't want to scare the American public. For goodness sake, they don't
care about that.
We had people.
If they don't care about blowing up the world in Ukraine with nuclear war, they're not going to care about some.
Alan, we had people wearing masks,
and that
just 2 years,
and they don't care. Do you think the CDC cares?
But do you
know the millions somebody could make if they had proof of that with a book and real proof that there was a wrecked flying saucer someplace with an alien, that the parts of an alien, they got frozen like Walt Disney.
So let me tell you, that's why you don't tell the American people, because you want to figure out whatever technology. Let's just say it landed in the U.S. Although I'm really kind of curious why it's always landing here.
Oh, you think? And my beloved South. The biggest believers in they had Laura Ingraham had CNN had some senator from Tennessee, never heard of before, and then she asked him, "Do you believe in this?" Oh, absolutely, 100%. I believe in that. Why do the flying saucers always land in some obscure town in the South? Why don't they crash in New York City?
Too busy.
Oh God!
Too busy. They need
when
space.
You crash, you're not trying to land.
You
land at some place. Somebody called in the crash. Hey, the authorities had to go out and get the wreckage. I promise you, if there's any wreckage that you're trying to pass off as from an alien planet, you look at that wreckage. Somewhere in that wreckage, you're going to find a part that on it says "Made in China."
That is another option of why the government is hiding these things that do happen, because there are unidentified phenomena. We know that, right? That you cannot dispute.
There's a ton of reasons.
You cannot dispute that. I mean, these are.
You remember? Oh gosh, you can dispute it. I am right now, and I'm back. I'm sorry because I keep interrupting you, but it's so absurd that people are believing this, folks. Someone look at me. Trust me. Don't be worried about UFOs and aliens. Don't let tell your kids there's no such thing.
Tell your kids
there's not going to be aliens coming down and abducting them and taking them away or want to attack the earth. It doesn't exist any more than Jack and the Beanstalk. You're not going to find the beanstalk. It's not going to happen. A unicorn, you can look all you want, you're not going to find a unicorn. And you're not going to find Sasquatch. Joe Rogan tried and he couldn't find it. You're not going to find these things because they do not exist. God made this planet to be the one special Garden of Eden planet in the entire universe of universes, and we're spending tons of money. I got a better idea. Go ahead and send the telescope out here. But all of those trillions of dollars for the next 10, 20 years that NASA is going to get from the people because, hey, we're going to go find them and invite them, put that towards cancer research.
Find a cure for cancer. You can do that. You can make a real difference in life if you funnel that money that's going to try to prove that there's UFOs and aliens. The amount of money that is going to be spent on this. And this whistleblower, I haven't seen a bigger liar since John Avenatti. This guy, I'm not making a prediction right now. This guy's going to be totally discredited. I mean, the Department of Defense, which I don't trust, the Department of Defense come out and says, sorry, we don't have any. Look any place you want. President, you've got clearance. You can go any place you want, Joe Biden. Why didn't Joe Biden go, I want to see it all? They got to let him in.
I want to know why.
They got to let him in. What you're saying is Donald Trump has gone in and seen the remains of an alien.
I think he has.
Oh, and he's going to stay quiet?
I think he.
Oh God!
I think he has.
Oh God! For him to be,
I think he would stay quiet.
Oh, God.
I think he would. I think he would. Donald Trump would enjoy knowing that.
Would you? I wouldn't.
Yeah, I would if it meant protecting my country.
Protect your country. If they're going to attack, we need to know they're coming.
Well, you don't want to know the date.
You want to go up there and kill the Ukrainians and Russians and blow up old people and babies instead?
Do I think we're going to have like an Independence Day Will Smith type of scenario where they're going to come down and we're all going to band together?
Then why do we want to know? There's some like little amoeba-like creature on some obscure planet trillions of light years away, and you find it and you say, Eureka! We found it. So freaking what?
So, Alan,
what good does it do mankind?
But you're pretty much saying you discrediting. You're pretty much listen to how this makes no sense. You really believe in our limited amount of exploration of deep space. We are like a grain of pepper.
Okay, let me ask you.
On a football
field. So there's
field.
got to be life, right? That's what you're saying. Because it's so vast.
Well, no, I want you to realize.
Infinity never ends, so there's got to be some life out there that kind of resembles us.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, are you...
They can get, you believe in the UFO. They're able to get in a contraption into a vehicle and come and crash into Earth. So they got to be a little bit.
What if they don't need a vehicle?
Well, they die. Obviously, they said they got a dead alien.
What if they don't die?
They said it's a dead alien. It's going to sit there and just sit there and be dismembered. No, you're contradicting yourself. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Do you think there's anybody in the world that has your same fingerprint?
No.
Okay, you're saying in the whole world. What?
In the whole world.
Now, the whole world, you're making the statement out of billions of people that have lived over the course of time. None of them had your same fingerprint, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yet you can say you don't buy the concept out of the whole universe. The same God who gave each of us an individual fingerprint of which there's not one like it anyplace else. Mm-hmm. You buy that. But you won't buy that the earth, out of the whole universe, is the only earth that has life. You're saying because the probabilities or the same DNA. They convicted people with DNA. Why? Because nobody has the same DNA. Out of the history. I believe that. I think God made unique beings. And God made earth unique, made life unique to earth. And just like a fingerprint, you can look all over the universe. You're not going to find that fingerprint called other aliens, other life. Just like he gave us unique fingerprints and unique DNA. Yet you're saying logically, oh gosh, why don't you say, well, there's got to be. There's so many people, somebody's got to have the exact same thumbprint. The law of averages would be as such. You got to be. But yet you say, no.
I do. But at the same time, you're saying that in the vastness of space.
Yes, we're like that fingerprint. We are uniquely a fingerprint, this planet in the universe, and there's nothing like it, even remotely like it. Just like our fingerprints are unique individually.
But
I am making a very good point for you right now.
You are. I'm not going to say it's not.
Okay.
But it's also
better to try to change the subject.
I'm not going to change the subject.
We go talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene.
No. She looks like an alien.
I want her and Bober to get into an MMA fight.
Oh, man, I'd love to send both of them out of this world.
But you know what I'm saying.
I get, but you can't say that we don't understand.
Can't say it. I just did.
It's like the Bible, right? Or it's like God's infinite wisdom, right? We as humans we can't comprehend what God comprehends. Maybe God, listen, Humans, we're pretty bad. We're really bad. You think God didn't make other better beings?
No.
We're like the worst out of
that
all.
That was the plan. That's why he sent Jesus for restoration.
I know there's a Bible verse that says
you actually believe there's another planet with other people resembling.
I don't know if they're people.
Well, what do you find life as?
Does
it have to breathe?
They have to
breathe. Does it have to breathe oxygen?
Absolutely.
So there has to be a planet with oxygen.
Well, no. Let's take it back. No, not oxygen specifically, but they have the ability to make rational decisions and think for themselves.
Rational decision. It's pretty advanced. I mean, any scientist would tell you to have that, even if they believed in evolution here on Earth.
A fish could do it.
Are gazillions to one to even happen. So you're thinking it's happened again, that there's more than, so it's like 10 million gazillion something to one, but you're saying, I'm buying that. I'm betting on that. For life to happen, to create that during the Big Bang,
as
all of
we
these
understand
planets
it,
had to, you just said, had to think.
Rational thinking. Yeah. But
from human terms.
Of what we could understand. Maybe on some faraway galaxy, far, far away, maybe the calculation is different. Maybe they don't rely on oxygen.
You're thinking that God reached on some other planet, took the dirt, and made another atom for that planet.
He didn't need to.
You have to create it.
We were the worst. Biblically, we were the worst beings. So those beings are a lot more, they're perfect.
And they have a different Bible then.
They don't have, they're all in the same Bible.
Well, did he send a Jesus replica there? Did he send the equivalent of Jesus to? So they're redeemed already. They're without sin.
Perfect.
They're perfect.
Yep.
You think the perfect aliens are out there.
They're sinless.
To quote Johnny Carson.
That's why we want to get rid of them.
To quote Johnny Carson. Wow. Wow. That's all I got to say.
I think you just beating me up on this topic. That's why you're going to bring it up at the end of every show.
No, you have a lot of people that believe. I mean, they're covered on the network, CNN.
Yeah.
Oh, further proof that COVID has completely driven this entire planet insane. I think I'm the only sane person. You know how bad a shape we are if I'm the only sane person out here? How bad a shape we're in as a world? Oh my gosh. Just get off. You're scaring kids.
I'm not scaring kids.
Oh,
I'm not saying they're going to come in.
Out there that you're talking about this stuff. Don't do that to the kids. They just got out of COVID. God's here. He created us. We're special. Tell the kids we're special.
Alan, I hope you never get abducted by an alien.
Don't pay the ransom.
I'm not going to. I'm going to make you wait it out so you believe in them.
Folks, thanks for tuning in. Guillermo Real, thank you so much. Jeremy, thank you. Couldn't do the show without you. God bless you. God bless America. Do your best. Let God do the rest. And there are no UFOs. See you Friday. Bye-bye now.
Who cares about the clouds?